Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi guys, good morning.
We are so excited to have you on. Today on Sunday Soul Day, we have Lorena Garfi, who is an authenticity coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tamisha. I'm so excited to be here. I met you before, and this was such a pleasure. I was nervous and excited, and I'm just so happy to be here with you guys.
So are we. We are thrilled and can't wait to share your story with everyone and also talk about some of the things that you're working on. So let's just dive right in. I'll just start by saying that Lorena and I met at the Jay Shetty Coaching Certification School and started following each other on Instagram after, and have been talking ever since. She's fantastic, and her background is just incredible. And so I couldn't wait to get her on the show just to share her story. But she is a former model and a comedian and now a life coach. And so I would just love for her to share a little bit more about that and tell us your journey because it's so interesting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the introduction, first of all. I would like to have you everywhere I go before I walk in the room. um, Well, yes, I'm an authenticity coach and certified from Jay Shetty. My journey there was very long. I'm from Argentina. I'm going to make this quick. And I start my first job. Well, I started working as a model when I was very young. As most of us, my childhood was a little bit unstable. And I didn't feel like I was belonging in my country, in Argentina. So it was an easy decision for me to do that. So I went ahead and I was a model for more than almost 20 years. And then I was a stand-up comedian. And a lot of things lead me to be a coach. First of all my struggles, everything I went through, everything that I learned. I live my life since I was little trying to please others. I felt like if I didn't follow the rules, I was going to be punished and nobody was going to love me. Oh, don't color outside the lines, don't speak too loud, please don't dance like that. I mean, many things like that, they stay with you, right? And when I had the opportunity to actually leave that environment, I was like, let's do it. So nobody was happy, but I was, and with no money, I moved to Paris for the first time.
Now, how old were
And
you? How old were you when you moved and really when you got started? Because you started so young. How old were you?
15. I was
Wow.
15.
Wow.
So the first couple of I won a contest um, just by chance. I didn't even want to be there. I never felt like I was pretty or different or nothing. I would walk like that, like I was awkward altogether. But my mom signed me in for in this contest just because they wanted to go to the parties that they were throwing for that contest. So I won it. Guess what? I was like, what is going on? You should see my face in that runway. I was like, what? So that's how everything started. And I was almost 15. Like I think the day after that contest, I was 15.
Oh,
And a lot of doors opened for me, like trips everywhere and modeling contracts and stuff like that. So I started going to Paris first. Yes. And it was nice. I was doing something for myself. I was free. But when you are a model, uh, your accomplishments are like out of external views of others. It has nothing to do with you. I wasn't very aware at the time. It was something that I would do, and I wasn't really happy. Um, I mean, first of all, it's a tough career. It's a lot of competition. I was very naive. Um, like I told you, I went there with no money. I started eating the cheapest food in Paris, which was mushrooms and carrots, very low in calories. So it was perfect for my career. All of a sudden, I was like 105 pounds. And everybody wanted me in their shows and whatever because I look like, that heroin chic thing.
mhm.
And then I was like, wow, myself, I have money, and but then I was very confused. I start developing. I don't know if I could call it an eating disorder, because it wasn't bulimia, or it wasn't that I wasn't eating anything, but I was very, very controlled with my food. Like I told you before, I was checking the calories on toothpaste at the point, because I was like, I gained 1 pound, and then, they already booked me for this show. They're going to send me home. French people is not afraid of like talk in front of you. And I spoke French because I taught myself French too. So all this criticism and nasty words, I knew exactly what they were talking about. So it was tough. But I was like, okay, when I get in the cover of this magazine, I will be happy. And then everything was like an out of body experience. I was not connecting to myself. Nothing will make me feel like, wow, I did it all. I did all the shows, the commercials, and I was absolutely disconnected with myself. So that was something that starts taking a toll on me. I was sad. I felt lonely, no connection. Everything I will do is because I was supposed to. I was what everybody else wanted from me. And that's it. And I lost myself. And at the time, I wasn't really aware of what was going on.
Yeah. And you were, during this time, like your modeling career, how old? So you started at 15, but how long did you model, and who did you model for? Who are you starting to?
I modeled for Giorgio Armani, for Escada. I did all kind of commercials in Paris for Olympus cameras, for Peugeot, for cars, Burger King, McDonald's, AT&T. Wow, I cannot even remember anything. Japan, I did.
Wow.
And all of the good designers, really. And I worked for Elle, for Vogue, for all kind of European and American magazines. And I've done several covers, but nothing felt like it was me. Like I did that because that's what I got. That was my opportunity to get out of a place that I didn't belong, but I was still not belonging. I was fitting in. I was fitting in everywhere, but I wasn't building my soul. I wasn't protecting my soul inside me. I was putting the power on others, and my happiness dependent of others' perception, of people that will think, okay, like we will book her, we'll hire her for this, we'll hire her for that. So I was always playing a different character, which was fantastic for my career.
Yeah. When did you start feeling like you? Like, was it not until you stepped out of modeling?
Well, it was a little, I had a lot of pains. The first magazine story that I did for Argentina, I was still 15. And I remember they dressed me with a shirt that was like a little see-through, and I didn't even know. And I was so excited to see my first editorial. And when I opened that and I saw that, I was just so mortified. And like, this is not enough. A boy that I had a crush on had said, made a joke about my breast not being so perky at the time. With this led me to have a breast implant. I was so young. I was vulnerable to the max. But I had signs. I was always looking and searching for something that made me feel happy, complete, joyful. And I could pretend all that, or I could convince myself. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, really, you have everything. You stay in the best hotels, you travel the world, you speak 3 languages, you're in the covers of magazines, everything is for free. You go to restaurants for free now, you get dressed for free now, you get perfumes, like everybody knows you. And it was just like, this is not it. This is not it. I always wanted to go to New York. I moved to New York. I started doing more commercial stuff in New York, and I was happy because I had a little more time, because when you do editorial and shows, it's too much. I went through a lot of things, like the towers. When the towers came down, that was a huge, but then doing stand-up comedy, it was when I started realizing that I can express myself and I had a voice. So that was the beginning.
Okay, how did you transition into stand-up comedy? Like, I feel like that takes so much courage to stand up on stage and just even talk, let alone be funny and tell jokes. How did you muster up the courage for that?
honestly, I was just walking around. I went into a newspaper stand and I saw an advertising for a stand-up comedy workshop. And I was like, why not? I do it. What? And then I realized I was good at it because the teacher, which is a coach, he will sit with you and you will have to talk about what happened today, that kind of comedy, like Seinfeld kind of comedy. And my stories were incredible. I mean, let's don't get into my romantic relationships because that will be a total different podcast and very, very long and sad. So I had relationship stories galore, modeling stories, like eating habits for models. I mean, I live in models' houses. We were 17 of us in one home. So I had a lot of stories, and I will tell them like they were, but everybody will be like, that's so funny. And I was like, really? And I was like, well, it feels good to get them out and to share them with people, and people actually will think it's funny and they're laughing. So good. So yes, I started to get a glimpse of who I was, and that it was okay, everything that I went through, and everybody got through the same. So yeah, I got nervous, but I did it. I don't know. I guess that when you're supposed to do something, it happens. And when you're there, you're just like, all right, I just want to do it. What's the worst that could happen, right? I mean, I'm gonna bomb. Oh wow, I go home and hide forever.
No, I can imagine, but like how as a fashion model, like who's literally modeled for everything, and also a stand-up comedian, like how have these experiences shaped your understanding of the importance of authenticity and connection?
Well, because when I start giving myself permission, and this is just little glimpses, I'm gonna take you to the breakdown, but I was like, this feels good. I'm okay, right? I can be myself and it's fine. I can talk about all the bad stuff and my crazy family in Argentina and it's fine. And I feel lighter, right? And then I start like wearing my vintage clothes and being different. And that was fantastic. So I had that moment that I was like, I want to do that. I want to have a platform to help people. That was always in the back of my mind, even at modeling. I always believe that it was something bigger. And I always believed that I had a mission in life because everybody has, right? But I was like, I need to find that. So I started expressing myself more, and that was amazing. But then I met the man that's my husband right now, which is amazing. But the fact that I didn't grow up with a father, I had zero, masculine image, nothing. I didn't know anything about men, but I always craved that. Right. I didn't know, like, since I was a teenager, I went through broken hearts, like begging boyfriends to come back to me because they will leave me because I was codependent and needy and, clingy, because all I wanted was that attention that I never had. So I met my husband, and then, he was amazing and I didn't want to lose him. So naturally, my mind just scanned everything about him, and then I went back to being what he wanted from a woman, and that's all. That's it. Everything else disappeared. Like many times in my life, I will end up a chapter and start another one and not even think back, which I lost many friends for that as well. So that was it. And everything I do it the best. So I became the best wife. I mean, I went from not cooking or eating as a model to being like Martha Stewart in the kitchen. I'm popping up babies.
Yeah. No, I thank you so much. Your journey is so incredible to me. And so I'm so grateful that you shared, and just for your vulnerability, sharing what you struggled with, and really like how you came out of it, and I think a part of it is like you weren't afraid to step into your authentic self by challenging yourself, and stepping out of your comfort zone and leaning into things that just weren't normal for models to do. Models didn't really talk, they just modeled. So just really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much.
Lorena, thank you so much. it sounds like from a young age were able to just jump into things, which I think is great. And then also have the realization early on to listen to yourself and say, hey, this isn't me. And you talked about kind of what I talk with clients about, the difference between internal and external gratification. And external gratification is temporary. And the only thing that helps us find true happiness is that internal gratification, or finding it from within, and us loving ourselves. And it sounds like through your journey, you were able to find that. But also just trying different things. Like you just jumped into modeling, you jumped into comedy, and I think that comedian in you, it was like natural. It sounds like almost a way to cope, right? I feel like comedy is so healing, and using humor is so healing. Yeah.
Yes, I love, I think that I use humor with my clients, of course, when it's appropriate, a lot, because I think that's super powerful. And creativity is an amazing tool. All kinds of things, from like what you like to play when you were a kid. Let's do more of that. Let's dance. Let's sing like nobody's watching, do stuff. What do you like? You like cooking? Do more of that. You like drawing? You like comedy? Like do more of that. That is just like, thank goodness I was able to find that again and again, because your road to authenticity is not linear. It's not that, oh, I'm authentic, look at that, because I had glimpses of being authentic, when I was doing comedy and I was in New York City, but then something happens. You don't know what will come up, what will like trigger you to go back to your cocoon, you're insecure, you feel like you're not enough.
Yeah.
You want to be loved no matter what. And that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. I want to shift gears a little bit and ask you, in your work as an authenticity coach, what are some common challenges or obstacles that individuals face when it comes to living authentically?
Well, the fact of feeling that they're not enough, that they have to keep up, they have to be what other people want them to be, the fear of judgment, not being able to set boundaries, not knowing what you want, forgetting your values, not being able, living through other people's values and not your own. Like if you don't know your values, and if you don't connect your values with your actions, you're not living your life. It's like there's a movie of your life and you're watching it from the outside, all of those things are very challenging and very difficult, and everything needs to be done step by step. First, awareness, right? What do you want? Who are you? If you think about it, who are you? What do you want? If you have a magic wand and they will be like, your life could be anything you want, what would you like your life to be? And what's the challenge here? What can you do to go and towards there?
Yeah.
And taking small steps, then you take another one, and then you gain confidence, and then you speak up. And you cannot live your life not being you, because that's going to be Bronnie Ware, she was a nurse. I don't know if you heard about her, for people that was about to die, and she wrote a book about I think the 5 bigger regrets of the dying. And the number one was not taking a trip here, marry this person, or being with someone else. It was like not doing what I want. Always putting myself behind and doing what others want about it. Like if something would happen to you tomorrow, what would you say to yourself? Are you happy? You cannot be happy all the time, but are you content? Did you try and fail or try and succeed? Like, did you do everything that you wanted? So yes.
Oh no,
that's it.
That's incredible. And it reminds me of what we teach in psychology. We call it the miracle question. If you woke up tomorrow, what would your life look like? And it helps the individual to look at the barriers to motivation and courage, and really break it down. And more often than not, it's exactly what you're saying, that the barriers are fear of judgment, and wanting to either please those around them. and then the recognition of wanting to live the authentic life, or the battle between wanting to live the authentic life and not feeling like you can. How there's a couple of questions within one, but how do societal expectations, roles in motherhood, marriage, and careers contribute to individuals neglecting themselves and wearing a metaphorical mask?
Well, I mean, society, first of all, is telling you, okay, you are a certain age, you need to get married, you need to have children. So you have that pressure. And not everybody's cut up for the same thing, so you have that pressure. And then once you start being what you're supposed to be and not what you want, like you almost get used to that. You get in the role and you just do that. Marriage, it's like a woman should be like the primary caregiver, and the man should provide. And anything outside of that is like wrong. Like, I want to work. I mean, I want to study. I want to take some time. You feel so guilty when you have children. Oh my God, it's still today that I'm fighting with guilt. Every time I have a coaching session, because I do have a coach myself, the word guilt pops up everywhere. And I'm still working with that. I'm better at helping my clients because I live it, but it's still hard. I'm here, I'm doing my coaching, and I'm like, should I be hanging out with the kids? Should I be cooking a better meals? And we neglect ourselves, and then we're nothing. What are we going to share if we are not us, if we are not happy? From which place? We're going to resent our own children.
Yeah. Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. It's so relatable. We just need to take care of ourselves before we can give to those around us. And it's just so complicated. Thank you.
Thank you. It's hard, but listen, I want to tell you something really quick. It's not just about the big things. It's about even the little things. What about when you get dressed? Do you get dressed for you? Like, or do you get dressed for, the mothers at school dress this way, I'm going to dress that way? Like, I mean, all these little things that you can show who you are and you can inspire others. We even forget that. So many tiny things in our life that we can just shine and inspire others to be themselves. I mean, can you imagine if everyone would be like themselves?
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so much of what you said, I'm relating to it, just the guilt of it all. I think we all feel it. But one thing that I've been working on personally is pouring into myself, because I know I can't pour from an empty glass. And so, and I know it's something that my clients struggle with, all the time. So thank you so much for sharing that. What advice or strategies do you offer to some of your clients that are feeling some of the things that you shared?
Start really, like I told you before, with awareness, first of all, like, how do you feel? How does it feel in your body doing this or doing that? Does it feel right or wrong? Does it feel wrong? Why? Most of the time it's because you're going against what you believe, your values, your beliefs, your passions. So then take a look at that, breathe there, realize, where is this coming from? And then once you can start working in your self-acceptance. You are okay the way you are. What can you do about that? How can you figure out who you are? Well, like we said, remember the things that you loved to do when you were a kid. What are the things that they bring you joy? Are you around people that support your growth or people that like pulls you down? That's very important, your community. What are you listening to? Are you listening to happy music, to podcasts, or you're listening to the news? The bad ones. It's like little changes, small steps to figure out who you are. And then you just have to be vulnerable. You have to learn to be vulnerable. And that starts tiny. It's not that I'm going to be like, just go on social media and share your story. But no, how about you make a little post with a picture of the sun and share a little bit of how you're feeling? Are you feeling warm? Do you miss the warmth? And then you do one thing and then you're inspired to do another one. And that builds confidence for you to have a voice, to stand up for yourself, to set boundaries. That's a big thing that I work with my clients. Boundaries, this is your house. Your soul has a house. You have the right to say who's coming in and what they are doing. You're going to let somebody in your house that comes in and breaks all the furniture? No, when somebody does that, you'll be like, listen, thank you very much, but no, we're going to meet somewhere else next time, right? You need to protect yourself, and you need to understand that we come to this world with a purpose, all of us, and we come by ourselves and we leave ourselves. We have no guarantee that the people that we try to build our soul's house and put it on them to make us happy, they're not going to leave and leave us homeless. So you need to build a strong house within you with all the rooms that you want, the confidence room, the courage room, the self-love room, and then walk in there all the time and protect that. Boundaries is so hard for people like us, especially wives, mothers. I mean, the major guilt comes from that, because I just want to make everybody happy, and I'm always feeling that I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. If I do something for myself, it's bad. But what example am I going to giving my children when they grow up? Oh, please, when you grow up and you get married, please just do everything everybody else wants. Forget about all the dollars that we spend in your school.
No, but it's so you hit it so on the head, because the vulnerability component, and I love that Brene Brown, who I love, by the way, I love all of her books.
Yes,
everything. Don't get me started. Shout out to Brene Brown. We'd love to have
love
you.
Her so much.
But she talks about the importance of vulnerability, and I think that when you have gone through things, bad relationships in your childhood, whatever, your journey and experiences that you have, sometimes it's difficult for people to be vulnerable and to even share their needs, and I love that you talk about the home, that is so beautiful. I'm going to actually steal that with my clients. I love that, in just protecting your home, because I think boundaries are so difficult when you're suffering from people pleasing, when you're suffering from just making sure everyone else is okay before you. And so I love everything that you said. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I love that as well. Like the imagery that you create, I think so many people are visual, and that really helps having that separate room for each area of yourself. I think is amazing to fill like each room, kind of like how we talk about filling our cup. We fill each room. It's unbelievable.
Yes, and you can invite the people that they deserve to be in your home.
More importantly,
Yeah.
You will always belong there. You don't have to fit in anywhere else. That no matter who's around you, no matter where you are, you will always belong there.
And how empowering to choose who you invite into your home, because we let people live in our heads rent free, and to be able to now choose who comes in, who does not. And
yeah, the power of choice. And it's one of my favorite words. And I wrote a quote years ago about this, where I'm like, life is BCD. We are all born, we will all die, and everything in between is our choice. And that choice and holding that power, when you really understand that you have the power to choose, it really just, it makes you understand just how in control of your life that you're actually in, and not giving your power to others. So I'd love to talk about a success story. If you could feel comfortable sharing, as much as you feel comfortable sharing about, but can you share a success story or a transformation of someone you've worked with, highlighting how embracing authenticity and manifesting their dreams positively impacted their life?
Yes, I mean, I have a couple of stories, but my first client, for example, she was successful, had so much experience, so much knowledge, and she was freaked out to put herself out there. She was very aware of what other people would think, people in my country, and it was a big thing. It was waiting on her for the longest time. So we started working on that, on how can you start showing a little bit of yourself without, feeling super vulnerable, just a little bit. And then we work on that. And once she put the feet in the water, she went more and more. And then she got so empowered that now I call her to ask her for tips. She's just so happy. And just something so silly like that. But that was an amazing, I'm so happy because that began a new chapter for her. And the confidence that I see on her, like the difference, I'm just so happy. She doesn't need me anymore. Another client, she had a narcissistic father, a narcissistic first husband, and she was living her life like that, pleasing and scared. And I take what I can. I don't deserve this. I mean, all the gaslighting that goes into narcissism, and we work on that in her self-worth, looking at everything she went through, how she accomplished so many things, and how she can actually start putting boundaries and choosing if you want that person or not. If you want to stay with that person, are you going to speak up? Just so then she starts speaking up. And at a point we thought maybe they were going to split up, but no. Then she was like, no, just by speaking up, because a lot of us don't even try. We don't even try. We're just so scared. We're used to, we're like, oh, we don't want to create like a nervous, how do you say, conflict. I don't like conflict either, but there's a point that you just have to do it. And in your road, it's not that, okay, you get like, of course, you talk with a coach, like, you realize who you are, you said you're on this. It's going to get ugly. I don't want to lie to anybody. It gets ugly before it gets great, because when you are not being authentic and you start to be authentic, everybody's like, what? You're
They
not
get very uncomfortable.
No.
We were just talking about this yesterday, Demisha.
Yeah.
About how, yeah.
No, you get to share if you want.
Oh, we were talking about yesterday about how once we make changes in our life, every aspect of our life changes, mind, body, and soul. And people will start to leave because they don't like our boundaries or we outgrow them. But physically also the changes we go through it's like everything finally catches up. And I kind of jokingly said to Demisha, it would have been nice to know I wasn't in the process of dying while I was going through that metamorphosis. But so grateful to be on the other side of it.
Yes,
right?
but
and would never take it back.
Nobody regrets that. Nobody ever said, I regret being authentic and doing what I love and being who I am. Nobody does. But you have to be strong. It's going to be a point that you're going to have to be like, this is going to happen. And then you have to realize and forgive other people too, because they're not in our journey, right? So everybody has a different speed of growth. So for example, I found resistance with friends and even with the person that I love the most, even with my husband. He was like, I don't even know if I can go on, in this situation. But all you have to do is to stay true to yourself. And I said, like, I'm patient. I'm not saying that you have to be vegan. I'm not saying that you have to wear hats and feathers when you decide to do it. You don't have to dance crazy like me, but I'm going to do that. And I respect the way you grow. And I understand that with many other people. But what happens when you are authentic is you become a service just by being you. I mean, it's magical. Even if we were not coaches and we were just like walking around and just being asked and saying what we think, which is probably everybody's thinking the same, but then that's it. That is enlightening just by itself, just by being you.
Wow. I mean, what a gift you gave your client, first of all. Like, it is not easy being in, any relationship, whether it's familiar, whether it's friendships or your intimate relationships with someone that's narcissistic. Like, I don't like to label, but maybe they have narcissistic tendencies. So it's so difficult to go through that journey unsupported. And the fact that your client had you to support her through that, to allow her to just speak up and to have a voice, is just amazing. Like, what a transformation for her and a gift. And what a gift you gave yourself into your husband. Like, while you were going through your journey, you didn't force him, to change with you, but you gave him, you held space for him to join you, if he chose to. And I just love that, and I think that is the most challenging thing, when we're in relationships. We want people to grow with us, and to come along the journey. But we have to realize that, our journey is our journey. Like, I have a quote that I say. It's like, we're all adorned with crowns, like our creator adorns us with crowns, and the crown represents the journey. And the journey has thorns and jewels on it. And they're both gifts, but no two journeys are alike. So while we're elevating, like in vibrating on a different frequency, not everyone is able to join that frequency and elevate with us. So just thank you so much for sharing.
And I want to just piggyback off of that. I think it was author Mel Robbins, and I posted it yesterday. It was like kind of exactly what you're saying, that reminder that people can only meet us where they're at.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the hardest things when we are in a place in our journey or in our recovery or our self-awareness or authenticity. We want other people to be there and to have forgiveness and empathy of where they're at. In today's image-driven and success-focused society, how can individuals navigate the pressure to conform and stay true to themselves?
Well, always I feel like it's going back to awareness. I mean, we have Instagram now, which is like, oh, you have to look like this, you have to weigh this many pounds and dress and that. And who says that anyway? Whose idea of pretty is that anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You have to start question, like, we are all individuals with our own unique gift, and we are all beautiful because we're all different. Mm-hmm. And can you imagine if everybody will look like the Kardashians? Like if everybody was the same, or everybody like, which they're beautiful and everybody's beautiful, but everybody needs to show their own gift. You need to be like, this is who I am. And I love my scars, and I like my curly hair. And because let's talk about religion and skin color, talk about all those expectations and all those dividers of human beings, right? So we start working on awareness and self-acceptance first. And then, we start building our home with self-love and what we need. And comparison is the death of happiness. And somebody says that I don't remember, but I love that quote. So that, and then jobs. How many, I have clients that they're doing their jobs that they thought that this is the job that people think that they are the best, that they have sparkle, and you will have a lot of money and success, and everybody will admire you, and they're miserable. Because at the end of the day, you need to do, especially when it comes to your life, you're going to be working like so many years on your life. You need to find what you like. And I tell my children all the time, everybody has a purpose. You need to find your passion. What is your passion? What are you good at? And then make it your purpose. Share that with the world, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as you were talking, I'm just wondering who they is. It's society's expectation, but who are they, and why are they any more important or better than us?
No, they are not. Like, who is saying that anyway? Like, I mean, that was probably like forever ago that somebody said that, and then people start talking about that. Okay, this is how silly we are as human beings, and how we follow whatever anybody says. I heard somebody talking about how much should it be. This is great. An engagement ring. Somebody was going to get married. How much? Well, and they were saying, an engagement ring is like 2 months of salary, something like that, right? I guess that everybody thinks that. I don't know. In my country, they didn't say that. But do you know that started because of a jewelry commercial? I want to say Case or something. Did you hear that story?
No,
forever ago that the commercials.
How marketing starts so many trends.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I can start something.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, what is? And I'm like, and we still doing that, and we don't even know where it comes from.
Yeah, it somehow just becomes Bible, where it's like, we integrate it into our practice somehow. So yes. I know I don't get it either, but thank you so much for that. Like, I can imagine, just with all of the, things that you've done throughout your life, which has just been remarkable, by the way. Like, what are some of the books that you recommend to your client, or like even the ones that have helped you in your journey as you've been transitioning more into your authentic self?
Well, I like Coming Home from Najwa Swan, I think. Coming Home. You have to. Anything. Well, I love Light Watkins. I did a couple of workshops and read his books all about like meditation and purpose and stuff like that. Brené Brown. I cannot get enough. Anything Brené Brown. Oh my goodness. I cannot even. Maya Angelou. I mean, I have so many books. I cannot even like, but those are my favorite right now. Those are the ones that I listen and I listen again. Gabor Mate. I mean, I like to know everything about human beings and emotions and trauma. And can I tell you, I feel like every issue that we have comes from not being ourselves. Everything, confidence and stress, anxiety, resentment, sadness, depression. I feel like, so anything that I can get my hands on that has to do with authenticity, because I have my authenticity story, so I already, without those books, I feel it, that I live it, and I know it's difficult, but reading more about it and confirming and getting all those visuals, and then I can share that with my clients, and my clients can share it with someone else. I mean, I get goosebumps just even talking about, because that's all I want to do. And I don't even think, of course, I want to make a living to pay my expenses and everything, but I don't even think about money when I'm doing this stuff.
Absolutely.
Like I don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right?
you're so fulfilled.
Work a day in your life. Sorry, Tamisha.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, when you're fulfilled and you're doing, you're really leaning in towards your purpose. Like I just, it never feels like work. Like Ali and I talk about this all the time. Like this is the first time in my life where I don't feel like I'm working, but yet I, quote unquote work a lot, of hours, but it's wonderful. You mentioned just incredible authors. And so thank you for that. I know like some of our viewers are going to definitely dive into some of those books. I too share your love for Brené Brown, as well as Maya Angelou. And I also love Ayanna Van Zandt, who is really big on authenticity. So if you haven't read any of her books,
yes, you are going to text me with that.
I will, because she's wonderful. I love her books as well. But thank you.
Lorena, you've accomplished so much already. What's next for you? What are some of your aspirations and goals for the future?
I'm just so excited right now. I feel like everything is starting. Like I really want to be like an ambassador of light and wisdom. I just want to create an army. I want to belong with a group of alike people that just intentionally want to leave the world a better place, leading by example, being compassionate and open. I want to eventually give talks, travel, help more people. I mean, I think that service is my purpose, and probably your purpose, because this is what you guys are doing. And I just want to continue on that journey of discover myself and discover all the gifts. And I want to get knowledge to feel empowered and confidence to give that knowledge away to others.
Wow.
Yeah. That's incredible. Thank you. That is, and I know you're going to do it because you just jump right in.
I'm doing it, girl. Like, I don't care anymore. That's it. Like when you don't care, I mean, you're a good person. It's not that I'm going to go walk around naked in the street because I'm free. But
I mean, why not?
But yeah, well, at least now I can tell you now. I think maybe 10 years ago.
There's designated places for you to walk around naked if that's what, fuels your soul.
Whatever, when you are like free to be yourself and you don't care and people try to put you down and you're like, I don't care. Because this is my response a lot of times when people talk to me or like, la, 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 la. And my kids are like, Mom, you are just so immature. I'm like, thank you.
Cute. It's the inner child in us, that playful side. And Demisha talks about that, and I do as well. It's like, it's not immature that to have that, to allow that inner playful, curious child in us come out. As we got older, started to care what other people thought, and we shut down that child. And it's so amazing that with through authenticity, we can bring back that childlike
Yes.
energy and curiosity. It's beautiful.
When we start listening to that child, imagine for like whatever 40 years, I had a little child inside that was like, I want to do this, I want to go dancing, I want to jump in a trampoline, I want to wear like polka dots and bows everywhere I go. And you're like, no, we can't. No, we can't. Imagine there is a time that is just that you are going to just feel awful if you don't actively listen to that child and you do something about it, like getting a coach or like reading or studying or whatever it is for you. Then you're going to get to a point that that child is going to get really, really pissed off, and it's going to just start crying.
And then life begins to feel meaningless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And you're so right. Like I think when I got to a point, I would say like I haven't really always cared what people thought about me, but I definitely cared what my parents thought, and once I released that, like in my late 20s, then that was freeing for me. And so there's such a freedom that comes with not caring what others think, or and it's not that you're being mean, but you're just like so rooted in who you are, and being able to like stand in your authenticity, to your point, and it really allows you to step into all the things that we were really placed on this earth to do. But I think when you don't do that, you do yourself such a disservice, and you hold yourself back, and your gifts, when you're so worried about showing up in a way that everyone else wants you to show up. So love that you shared that. I want to ask a question that we ask to all of our guests, which is how do you fuel your soul? Like, what are some of your routines or rituals that you do?
All right, my routines during the day. Are you ready? How long do you have? So I wake up between 4:30 and 5. And I meditate for half an hour. Then I get out of bed and I go work out. And I pick up my kids and I give them breakfast and I take them to school. And then I go and do yoga. And then I come home and start studying and working and talking with clients. But meditation, taking care of my body, journaling, being in nature, connect. Like now, even if there is no birds around, I will actually tell Alexa to put little birds chirping. I'm like, Alexa, play some birds chirping, and just connecting and being in the moment. It just fills me up so much. And meditation really helps with everything. Like, before I started meditating, I was like, oh, please, who can sit there for half an hour? But now I crave it. I cannot wait. I'm like, oh my God, I hope it's not time yet. I want to stay here. And yes, those things for me are major.
And I remember movement is very important for you too. Like you talked about, she and I were talking about movement, and I remember seeing a post on some of your social medias, and you have such fun things that you do, from swimming and dancing in the pool and doing the
movement is major. It takes your mind away from things. It challenges you. It's fun, especially if you can take like a group class with other people and just be loud and sweat together. I mean, it just changes everything, and you live longer, and that's something you can share with your children. And that never changed for me. Actually, that was something that I always kept to myself, no matter what. I have to say, even when I was going through really hard times, my thing was running at the time. Now I just had a hip replacement, but I don't regret my running anyway. That was my thing. And even when I got married, I was like, no matter what, I need to work out every day, do something for myself. And that I was always setting that boundary really hard. And I think everybody needs to do that, to take care of their body, mind, and soul.
Good for you. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know some of those things will resonate with our viewers. So thank you.
Good. Wow, I'm in such awe of you and others who can get up that early in the morning. I used to be a night owl, and I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I have shifted, and I find that the earlier I'm getting up, the more I'm taking care of myself and starting my day on the right note. And I love the cross training. I think that's so amazing. I've been getting into running. I take a dance class. I do yoga. I do Orange Theory, which is like a
I
workout
was addicted to
program.
that too. I did
Yeah.
it longer.
Thank you so much. You are such a fascinating life, and you just are
Oh,
so full of energy and light. And are you still doing comedy right now? I would love to see some of
no,
your
I am not. I
Yeah.
don't really have the time now to focus on that. But I was talking with my husband yesterday that, I would like to maybe start that again, going to some open mics. It's just that when I became a mother, I didn't think it was so funny. It was a
Mhm.
little hard, It's just like everything is like, oh my God, diapers, poop everywhere, and school, and car seats and strollers, and anyway. So I
Yeah.
got a little bit, but now that my kids are growing, that I'm actually friends with them, and like you said, kids are not going to do what you say, but they're going to do what you do. So
Amen.
mothers, yes, mothers, just do
Mhm.
you and inspire your kids to
Absolutely.
be themselves and lead by example for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is so true. They're not going to do what you say. They're going to do what you do,
Yes.
and for so long it was, don't do as I say, not as I do. And that didn't go well for parenting. So just tell us where people can find you.
Well, I'm mainly in Instagram at Lorena Garfi.
Mhm.
And then I have my website, which you can book your discovery call there as well, which is thepowerofyoucoaching.com. I am in TikTok also at Lorena Garfi, also in Facebook, Lorena.Garfi, and I'm in LinkedIn, not so active yet, Lorena Garfi too. But I have a lot to learn. I'm so excited that I don't know everything. Every time that somebody tells me something I don't know, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. And then I learn it, and then I can do things. And, so I'm excited to just keep learning. I'm so happy that I'm not a know-it-all.
Yeah, this has been just incredible. I'm like just buzzing from this interview and learned so much from you. Definitely taking the house metaphor that you use with my clients. So love that. And some of the books that you mentioned too. So again, thank you for today and just sharing and all of your wisdom. Um, we look forward to hopefully having you on the show again down the road.
You so much. Thank you. And I don't want to lose any contact with you ladies. Like, I love chatting with you and learning from each other. So we're going to have to find another way to get together.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Well, have a wonderful Sunday, everyone.
Thank you. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.